We're going to choose to be in alignment with the life that we desire. Right, Kobe? But this morning, the real reason why I'm here to talk to y'all is because this morning I was doing some journaling, and there's something that really caught my attention for basically a message that I needed to hear in the moment that I'm in the season that I'm in right now. And it was something that I wrote last month. So the prompt at the top of the journaling page or topic or whatever was, why are you afraid of your power? And that hit home for me because it's like, I don't really know how to explain it, but when you know how powerful you are, like when you feel it inside, but you aren't allowing yourself to go those heights, you aren't allowing yourself to be who you know you can be, it's really limiting. And it's really like, why is that? Like, why am I doing that to myself? Like, why am I constantly holding myself back? Why am I in my own way? And I know that it's challenging for me because I've known this before. Like, this is the same. This isn't nothing that I haven't known before, like, years. I've known it for years, and I've tried to overcome, but it's like I allow myself to stay in my comfort zone. I allow myself to be relatable to what I used to be relatable to. Like, I don't like feeling uncomfortable. I don't like feeling unstable. Like, I want to be secure in life, basically. This time I made myself list out, sorry, hold on one second. This time I made myself list out like reasons. Like, I literally sat there and I was like, well, why are you afraid of your power? And some of the reasons, if I can remember, I wish I would have brought my journal out here. I'll probably insert a picture to for a better understanding. But some of the reasons were because I'm afraid of my power because I'll have to be seen differently. I'll actually have to be heard. I'm afraid of my power because I'll have to be unrelatable to people or things that I used to relate to. I'm afraid of my power because people will see me differently. I'm afraid of my power because I'll have to get outside of my comfort zone. I'm afraid of my power because I'll have to let go the things or the people that once made me comfortable. And it was basically things like that. And it was a very long list. It just made me realize that I'm holding myself back from a lot of opportunities that I know would be very profound and very beneficial to just the elevation that I want to experience in life. And I know that life is a journey, and when I'm ready to elevate, I'm going to elevate. Like, when I have my mind set on elevating and becoming the person that I want to be, that's going to happen. And it takes a lot of undoing, and it takes a lot of letting go before you get to that point. So it's not something that I'm going to rush. It's not something that I'm going to beat myself up about. I'm going to, allow myself to be human and allow myself grace. But also, I'm also going to think, like, why am I limiting myself? If I know that there's something out there that's better for me, why am I continuously not aligning with what's better? Why am I continuously aligning with what I don't desire in life? And that question in itself is just so powerful, and it's so important because everything you do is you do for a reason. Everything you do, you're choosing to do. So if I'm saying that I want to become this elevated version of myself, but my actions aren't aligning with becoming that elevated version of myself, then clearly that's not what I desire right now at this moment. So it's like, maybe one day, or not even maybe, because now that I'm understanding myself more, I know it's going to happen, and it's going to happen when it is supposed to happen, divine timing. But honestly, it's just so crazy because like everything is so mental, and we've heard, or I've heard this stuff before. This isn't the first time I heard it, but it's like once you really understand, hold on y'all, the wind is windy, but once you really understand like why you act the way you act or why you do the things you do, it kind of makes everything fall into place, because then you're more aware of yourself, you're more aware of your actions, because now you're like, okay, I'm still doing said thing that I said that I wanted to stop doing, or I'm still aligning with this past version of myself. And I can't blame anyone for where I am in my life besides myself, because I'm the one who's choosing to be comfortable. I'm the one who's choosing those habits that got me to where I am today. So yeah, that was just really, really profound for me. And I feel like I'm in a season where I'm letting go of a lot of things. I'm letting go of a lot of people who no longer serve me, and I'm unlearning and I'm relearning new ways of living. Rod Wave said in one of his songs, he said, it's hard to be vegan when you're surrounded by carnivores. And that basically meant to me, what I took it as, it's hard to be different, or it's hard to do different things when you're surrounded by people or things that don't align with that. Naturally, you want to just be comfortable, so you want to fit in, you want to do what you feel comfortable doing, because you don't want to be talked about, you don't want to be judged, you don't want to be the outcast, you don't want that light to be shining on you. And I'm that type of person where I do not like the spotlight. Like, I don't like the spotlight. I learned that about myself at a very, very young age, because I was so like shy and I was so shut off, just to keep myself out of the spotlight. And then I thought, if I was surrounded by people who were doing better than me, people who were literally living their life, their most elevated life, living the best life that, you know, they want to live, then it wouldn't be so hard for me to align with this version of myself, because I wouldn't be afraid to show up. I wouldn't be an outcast. How am I trying to say this? So it wouldn't be so much of a difference in our lifestyles, because that's their lifestyle and that's the lifestyle that I'm trying to attain. It would be motivation to me. It would be inspiration to me. But I don't see too many people that are actively trying to elevate their life in the way that I'm elevating my life. I'm not surrounded with that type of inspiration currently, so it's harder, because I'm so used to fitting in with this certain type of group. I'm so used to being comfortable here. I'm so used to relating to these things that I don't want to be seen doing anything differently. And these are just like the thoughts that I had when I was journaling that day, because it's like, and now I'm understanding why I do the things that I do. Because you can know something spiritually but not do it physically. You can know something mentally but not do it physically. And what I mean by that is, I can know that doing such and such isn't beneficial to me, but I'll still do it just to fit in. I'll still do it just to be comfortable. I'll still do it just to be relatable. I'll still do it just for the conversation. And I don't want to do that no more. I don't desire to be someone who, I desire to be so firm in my boundaries, so firm in what I believe in, that no matter who, what the occasion, I'm going to strive for better. I'm going to strive to align with what I desire. And if I don't desire it, I'm not doing it. Yeah, that's just what I had on my mind this morning, because I was about to journal, but I didn't even get to journal, because when I flipped my journal open, that's the page that it flipped to, and I just read it, and I'm like, I needed to see this today. I needed to see this, and maybe you need to see it too. So ask yourself, why are you so afraid of your power? Why are you so afraid of elevating to this newer version of yourself? Why are you so afraid of letting go? Because there's a reason why you aren't getting the results that you're wanting, because you still desire, or you still desire to be comfortable. You still desire to be relatable to people or things that you used to relate to. And that's okay, because self-awareness, like I said in my last video, self-awareness is key. So if you're not aware of something, how can you change it? But now that we're aware, we're going to choose better habits. We're going to choose better. We're just going to choose better. We're going to choose to be in alignment with the life that we desire. Right, Kobe? Right. And I realized for me that a lot of this stems from growing up, like my childhood experience, because I would try so hard not to be seen because I wasn't used to being seen. Growing up, I wasn't used to being seen. I wasn't used to being heard. So that kind of carried into my adult teenage life. I would do everything in my power to not be seen, not be heard. I spoke softly so I wouldn't be heard. And I think when you really sit down and you analyze all your thoughts and your patterns, you really have to think about the why. Where is this stemming from? Because a lot of times it stems from deeper subconscious meanings. It has a deeper meaning. And your childhood plays a big, big, big role in who you become before you're aware. And you don't have to stay that same person. You don't have to be who you were or your inner child. You can thank your inner child for getting you to this point, but at some point you have to realize that that isn't serving you anymore. So I understand why I want to be safe and I want to be secure, because my inner child desires to be safe. My inner child desires to be secure. My inner child desires to be comfortable. My inner child doesn't want to be seen because she's not used to being seen. My inner child doesn't want to be heard because she's not used to being heard. My inner child didn't like being talked about, didn't like being judged. So that carried along with me up until this point in my journey. And so you really have to sit back and you have to think and you have to just, it's like taking analysis of yourself, like self-analysis, and being really real with yourself. Because if you're not real with yourself and you're telling yourself, okay, I'm ready to let this go, or I'm letting this go, or you're faking it. And that might work for some people, but it never worked for me, because I'll fake it for a day and then the next day I'm back doing those things that I was comfortable with. So listen to your inner child. Listen to their needs, their wants. They're trying to speak to you through your actions. Because I don't know about y'all, but a lot of things that I do today are things that a lot of things that I do today are things that comforted me when I was younger. Comforted that little girl in me who was so scared, who was so shy, who was so nervous. It comforted her. And now I'm at a point where I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want to be, reserved and shy, because I deserve to express myself freely. I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be heard. I'm worthy of being heard. But how can I be heard when I'm not allowing myself to be heard? How can I allow myself to be heard if I don't know that that's what the issue is, that that's what the problem is? It takes some deep shadow work. You gotta really, really sit down and get down to the nitty gritty. And one way that I learned to get down to the nitty gritty is continuously asking yourself a series of why questions. Why am I afraid of my power? And I'll say, well, I don't want to be judged. Well, why didn't I want to be judged? And I'll say, well, I don't like being talked about. Well, why don't you like being talked about? And I'll say, well, this and this. And you just keep asking yourself why. You keep asking yourself why. You keep asking yourself why until you get down to the root of the problem. And then once you figure out why, that's when you can use that to your best advantage and you can use that to move forward. because the whole point of us doing this is to elevate. We want to elevate, but we can't elevate when closely we're so closely ingrained in who we used to be or what we used to be and what we used to do, because we know that that's not serving us anymore. We know we have to let it go. So it's time for us to let it go, but we have to figure out why before we let it go. I hope everyone has a beautiful day. Remember to hold grace for yourself. You're not perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you. Every day, wake up and be you. But if you really want to change, you have to start understanding yourself. And you have to start being aware of your thoughts and your habits, your feelings, your patterns, everything that goes on in your life. And you have to let go of what no longer serves you. And it's not going to be an overnight journey, but I believe in you, and I know that you can do it. I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself?